Alright, so it looks like, we looked online and it looks like for some reason the long ones are less expensive than the shorter ones. This is 48 inches, $26.96. You know, I made that video, how to replace your stairs for less than $25 each. That's only like, it's only $1.96 more than that one, but we actually use these over here with $14.96. Weren't they like $12 last year? No, they were $10. These used to be $10, remember? So I made the video how to get your stair treads done for under $25. You can still do that if you use the pine. You're just going to have to work your stain magic if you want it to look like oak. Otherwise, you're going to have to go with oak. Today, those are $26.96. All right, here we go.
We've gone through all of them? Wow. We pulled out, look, this thing was stacked. We pulled out every stair tread they have here at the Home Depot.
So out of these.
No, the ones that we said aren't too bad, I mean, that we didn't want to use, aren't too bad.
All of them.
This one here's got a snot on it. So we've set all these out like this.
Hey you guys, don't get it twisted. Like Kelly said, we did pull all of them out, but I was ready to grab the first 13 that I saw. But she's the one that does the staining, so she wanted to make sure she hand selected all of them. And a couple of the Home Depot employees came by and they weren't sure if we were buying treads or building a fort. But I think we got the best that Home Depot has to offer when it comes to these engineered oak treads.
Okay team, so we got that riser in down there, and now it's basically just creating the puzzle pieces that Kelly spoke of. Now I bought these things for my last stair job. I always just use cardboard, or I just kind of eyeballed it using my framing square, but and it had pretty good results, but somebody told me I should try these. We used to have something called a stair wizard back when I installed floors for a humongous box store that did only floors, and it was called the Stair Wizard, and it was pretty cool. But this is something somebody else came up. I always thought about coming up with something like this, but why reinvent the wheel? This thing works fine. So I'm gonna show you how it works on this first step, and I'll probably be using this tool for all the rest of the stairs right here, okay? So here we go. All right, so guys, here is the stair tool that we're gonna be using all the way up the stairs. However, I ran into a little bit of a situation here, where if you come over and take a look, no matter how hard I try to get this thing down in here, it's not gonna lay flat because of this right here. So let me loosen these and show you what I mean. See, it doesn't want to lay down. So we're gonna have to go to an old trick we used to do. We used to do this with cardboard, but we don't actually have any cardboard out there. So I did have some of this MDF, and I just cut me up some strips the other day. All right, so I got some good old-fashioned hot glue right here and a couple glue sticks, but I believe whatever's in this is probably gonna be able to get it done. So here's what we're gonna do. I cut this strip 34 3/8 because that's about what this was over here, and I made it where it could slide just a little bit. Now these right here, they should be able to fit right inside my thing there, and that's actually like dead on. So if I'd have cut them any longer, it wouldn't have worked. So anyway, I'm just trying to find what is the straightest edge. That looks like you're right there, and then this right here. Now by doing it this way, you can get the exact perfect step. It is literally a template of what you're about to cut. So let me glue these together and show you how it goes.
If you're only doing 2 or 3 steps, you can also use cardboard. This method is great, and it prevents you from having to go buy a tool if you're only going to use it once.
It should dry in just a couple seconds. And we'll just do this other one over here. It should be easy. All right, we'll let that sit for just a second. Pull it off, and that will be our template for the first step. All right, so we're going with our first step on the set of steps right here. Got my template right here.
Let's hope that end says cut off.
Let's hope one of these sides are square. Kelly wants me to cut off that side, so let's check to see this side for square. Look at that, guys. I am not mad at that at all. That lines up good. How's it look on the back? Beautiful. So now all I have to do is just scribe this with my pencil, cut it, score it with my knife, that way I don't have no chipping, and run out there and whack it off on the table saw.
I love it when you do that.
Do what?
Sharpen your pencil.
Make sure to bring one to bed tonight. Alright, so I got my line right there. Gonna get my straight edge and score that. So those of you who weren't with us the other day, I explained something I learned at a custom cabinet installation thing. So when you're trying to cut wood, a lot of times you'll see guys take tape and put it on there, and that's just to keep the one side of the blade when it's chipping up, not to make little flakes. What I have learned that is if you go ahead and take a razor knife and you go ahead and break the skin like this with your razor knife, then when you send it through the table saw, you don't even need tape because the skin's already broke, and it's broke in a nice fine line the thickness of my razor blade. Alright, so I'm going to take this thing outside and cut it. We'll bring it back in and see how it fits, and then we'll do any fine tuning if we have to. Here we go.
So that means you're not going to cut it with the fence?
Right.
Okay.
Which is why we do the razor blade thing. So take a look at this. You can see I was able to cut it, and even if I couldn't get all of it right up against the line, the sander helps me to finish it off because I got that blade and I'm able to sand right up to it and I know where to stop. The thing's gonna be perfect when we go drop that in. Let's go test fit it. This thing is
Beautiful.
Guys, that's money. Take a look at that. Look how close that is. Now that's the side we cut. And this side over here, it was square, so we're good to go. I say glue that and nail it. Alright guys, so now that I got the tread in, what I want to do is I want to fire a couple 2-inch brad nails. So what does that mean? We need to change our nails. So glad I remember it, because like I said, you don't want to shoot them 1 1/4 through. So we got 2-inch nails that's going to go through 1 inch all the way through the tread and another inch into the wood, plus the glue. I think we're good on that. So what I'm going to do is fire about 4 across the back, and the reason for me firing across the back is because that's where I'm going to be putting my riser. Now, that could bite me later because if I have to pull that, I'm going to have to pull that riser too, and it's going to be a mess. But anyway, I don't think that's going to happen because we're building these to stay, and we're building them good. Alright, so nails in the back. Alright, and then I'm going to stand on it and make sure I got it squished down. Pop a couple just in the front here. And those we can just putty with some kind of matching putty. You'll never see them. I don't want to put one in the middle. There's no need. And this thing is 1 inch thick. It's not like it's doing like this. It's straight. It's fine. Now this is just something I do. I like to come in here and cut it long because if I can set it in place, I can take a look over here and see that there's a crack at the top and it's tight at the bottom. And also, I take my pencil and mark it down here at the bottom because that's about what I want to take off to nothing right there to get that square. Now I'm going to check the other side. This is the opposite. There's a crack at the bottom and it's tight at the top. So I want to take some off of the top here. Another quick tip is to make sure you write top, and then I sometimes write either right or L, right and left, or R and L so I know which one is which. So I'm gonna take these out here, cut them out of square, and then fit them in here and see what we got here, and then we'll cut it to length. Put this on like a 1/2 degree and locking it down. Okay, so on this side, look at that. Oh man, how tight can you be? So that side is good as far as the angle goes. Let's take it back out to the other side now. And that side looks pretty good as well. So can we get that in there? Look at that, boom. I like it.
It's ready to nail?
Yep, it's ready to nail. So we're gonna glue it and nail it. All right, moving on to the next one.
Well, you guys, I didn't do really anything different for the rest of the steps. It was pretty much straightforward the way I showed you the first couple of steps. Now, I've got plenty of stair videos out there, so I didn't think you guys wanted to hang around while I installed every one of these. Besides, you guys came to see me install the top step. So I'm going to go ahead and knock the rest of these out, and I'll hook back up with you when we get to the top.
Man, look at that. Light that one up. Look how tight that is. Yes, sir. All right, let's glue it now. I've had a lot of people ask me in the comments, Z, what is it that you do when you get to the top step when you're transferring from carpet to the steps? And I'm going to show you what I would do in this case. Now, I want to put a nose out here and then put my riser up underneath it after I've rolled the carpet and tucked it over. But as you can see over here, if you take a look, this plywood has not been cut flush. Now, if I just put a shim on there and nail it, I do not trust that to hold up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribe it, and then I'm going to glue it with this PL3X because I know that stuff won't go anywhere. And then I'm going to put my nose on there. And then all of that is going to be supported by the riser up underneath that. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, it will in just a second. All right, so I got my piece of wood right here. It's 3/4 of an inch thick, just like that plywood is. So I'm going to stick it in here and go underneath and just scribe it. That's it. And as you can see, it goes from there to there. That's like 3/8 to 1/4. Once I slap that on there, it'll be fine. And then we'll put our 1 inch thick nose. I'm actually using a deck board. It's about 1 inch thick, but it's already rounded. It'll look great when the carpet's wrapped over it. All right, I'm gonna go outside and cut this, and I'll be right back.
Well, you guys, I was trying to knock this down to a 20-minute video, and in the effort of trying to get more space on my phone, I accidentally deleted the part where I glued the stair nose on. But it's pretty simple. I ripped it to 1 inch so it had the same hangover as the other. It was already 1 inch thick. I glued it with the PL3X, and then I nailed it through the face into that 2x at the top. And there was a small piece of pad missing. It wasn't that big, so I just used a scrap piece of carpet as a filler, as you can see. And then once I rounded that thing over, it was perfect. Now, where it was before, there was a little crease, so as you can see, I'm just trying to work that line out. Next, I'll be stapling it, and then we'll install the riser.
I know the carpet guys are like, where's your carpet knife? It's out there in the carpet drawer. Promise this blade was sharp when I put it in here. I'm gonna flip it over.
That's what happens. The carpet makes it not sharp anymore.
Wow. All right. I like that. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, now we just measure for the riser, and I'm gonna try to make this thing tight so it pushes up underneath. Yeah, beautiful. We're gonna start off with I'll just start off with 5. If that's too thick, we'll make it a little bit smaller. But that's where we're gonna start. 5 by 34 and 7/16. All right, guys, here we go. Last riser. This is the one that's going to hold the carpet in place and also support that nose down there. And I'm gluing it. We're almost to the end of our glue, too.
End of the glue. End of the stairwell. Good job.
Now what we're going to do this is put the top in first and get it as far in there as we can.
Oh, yeah.
Feels pretty solid. And it's got that carpet nice and tight. All right, so I guess we'll start on this side. Can't get no more solid than that. All right. And that is a set of steps. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video or you got some kind of value out of it, please help us out by smashing the like button. That'll send this video out to people who might not get to see it, and if you guys enjoyed it, maybe they'll enjoy it too. Alright, that's gonna do it for this one, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care and stay safe. Peace. Did I say that right?
Yep.